Hi everyone, I'm here with some testing updates. Um, we're gonna, this really affects everyone K5 because we're talking about iReady. The iReady diagnostic window is August 24th through September 11th, and every child at our school is going to take these diagnostics. Kindergarten through fourth grade will be taking the iReady reading diagnostic, and K through 5 will take the iReady math diagnostic. Usually the reading diagnostic is only for K3, but this year, because of the COVID shutdown last year, the state has written into legislation that fourth grade should have a reading diagnostic. So that's going to be available, and we're going to have our students take those in that window. Students will take it remotely. And what that means, when students log on August 24th, when that window opens up, they will automatically see the diagnostic come onto their screen, and they'll start taking it right there. Like I said, they will be taking it remotely. And we have some concerns about our parents and siblings trying to help our students, and I'm going to address those in just a second. Paper pencil students must be invited and have an appointment scheduled to come into the classroom with their teacher to take both of those tests in person. It needs to be two different appointments for each kid because you need to have about an hour, hour and a half appointment for each subject. So you'll need to schedule one for math and one for reading for your paper pencil students. You can bring multiple paper pencil students in. If you have 3 or 4 paper pencil students in your class, you can invite them to come in at the same time to take reading, and you can invite them to come in at the same time to take math. But you cannot go over 4 students. Our limit right now on Plan C is 1 to 4 students. Only paper pencil students can have an appointment for the purpose of taking these diagnostic tests for iReady. We had talked to some teachers, Ms. Deaver and I, about wanting to invite our students in small groups to come in throughout the window to take these assessments. But knowing that it's 2 assessments for most students, and that's just too much time to bring them in and to ask parents to do that, and even for our teachers. So we're only going to ask that our paper pencil students have an appointment to come in and take those tests. Everybody else will be taking it remotely. There may be a paper pencil student whose parents don't want them to come into the building because they're concerned about health and safety. If that happens, we can try to accommodate their concerns as best we can. We can offer to set up a station outside and take the test outside with them. We can be creative in what we can offer for that. Our hope is to get them in and to get that test so that we can have that data and kind of get an idea of where they are. If they don't, we can't force them to come in, but we can try to be creative about solutions for their concerns. The only exception is fourth grade. Because fourth grade is written into legislation, they wrote in an exception to the iReady diagnostic window for fourth graders who are paper pencil. So for our fourth graders who are paper pencil, if they refuse to come in and they can't ever get into the building during the window, they actually can take the diagnostic they have to take the diagnostic in the first 20 days of face-to-face instruction. So that's whether we're on Plan B or Plan A. Those students would have to come in the first 20 days when they're here to take the reading diagnostic for iReady. I'm hoping that by appointment we can get them all in and we won't have to worry about waiting that long, because we don't know how long that could be. So the concerns about parents and siblings helping their their little one to take the test. It's in a parent's nature to help their child. But Miss Deaver had a brilliant idea. She's going to be making a video to share with parents on social media and on our Monday messages that explains the diagnostic and talks about how important it is that parents not help their child through the diagnostic. We don't want it to give an inaccurate representation of where they actually are in their academic understanding. So she's going to explain that in the video, and she's going to explain that the student taking this diagnostic, that's lining up their pathway for their lessons, and that we don't want the inaccurate data to keep them from being able to grow academically in either subject. So she's going to make that video. We're going to share that out probably at the end of next week, before the diagnostic window begins. So the next parts of this are all for 3rd through 5th grade. So if you're K2, you can either exit out of the video, or if you're curious, you can stick around. I know you just want to look at me talk about testing some more. You're welcome to stay. The first thing is the BOG3. The state of North Carolina has made the decision. They've been very clear that they have no intention of waiving any testing this year. The BOG3 will still be happening. The exception is that if you're in North Carolina and your school district is not face-to-face at the beginning of the school year, then you will be giving the BOG in person after you enter face-to-face instruction. So the idea for BOG3 is that after we are on Plan B or Plan A, we will, in the first 20 days, administer the BOG3. So right now, we have no idea when that's going to be. I think it's kind of interesting that we could possibly be in the 2nd or 3rd 9 weeks before that happens, and still, at this moment, we still would have to take the BOG3 in those first 20 days. Hopefully, if it were to happen that way, there would be some kind of change to that requirement. But as of right now, we would be required to give the BOG3 in the first 20 days once we return to face-to-face instruction. So right now, for remote learning, Plan C, we are not giving the BOG3, but we will be giving it within 20 days of face-to-face. The next bullet is about check-ins. Check-ins are happening, and I have excellent news for 3rd grade. The 3rd grade reading SchoolNet benchmark is no more and is now a state check-in, just like all of our other tests in elementary school. That has been a fight we have been fighting for years, to not have to take that 3rd grade SchoolNet benchmark. And so now they have provided a 3rd grade reading check-in, and our district has chosen that as our benchmark for 3rd grade. So we have all check-ins for 3rd through 5th grade reading and math. Most of you have done check-ins before. I'm trying to think. I think all of you have. Well, no, Miss Tillery, you might not have. It all works through NC Test, and we have to set you up an NC Education account, and you have to be able to sign into that, and we'll work on all of that later. But now there's going to be a screen when the students click on NC Test on the Chromebook. There will be a screen where you can log in as the administrator, and then the class list pops up, and you click on the student's name who's taking the test on that device for if you're in person. Or if the student is at home taking it remotely, they will be given a code, and they will put their student ID number in, and then they'll put that code in for the test, and they'll take it remotely that way. So 4th and 5th grade has access to Passport for Learning until October 30th through NC Test. I think that was in your PD from the district this week. The information about that, that Passport for Learning is all done through NC Test. And I'm telling you that because there is a requirement for NC test and for NC check-ins. If a 3rd through 5th grade student is going to take a check-in or use Passport for Learning remotely, they have to use a district Chromebook. They cannot use a personal device. And that's because NC Test is already uploaded as an application onto those, and NC Test can't be uploaded to a personal device. So I am working on a list right now of our students. It's a difficult process to figure out. I'm working on a list of students who have been working remotely since March, but that have not checked out a Chromebook. So we can try to identify which kids are working on a personal device, and we can try to get them in here to check out a school one. That way, when it gets time for us to take the district check-ins, whether we're here or not, they'll have a device that they can take that on, assigned to them. So I'm working on that. The other part of that was that 4th and 5th grade also has the math sets through SchoolNet. There's about 10 to 15 questions per domain, and those are all available in SchoolNet. If you have questions about those, I'm sure Diane Wells, I'm sure that she would be the one that could help you the most to access those and find those. The last thing is about special editions. You might have heard about this if you read a lot of social media or spend a lot of time reading updates about education. It's been posted all over North Carolina's education stuff that we are giving special editions, which is a separate test for every single grade. It's like an EOG for every subject. I even think there were science ones for K-5. Anyway, those tests, they scared me as a testing coordinator and as someone who really cares about our students. We're already requiring them to take the BOG. We're requiring them to do iReady diagnostics. We're going to be requiring check-ins. And it's a lot when we're going through the type of school year that we are about to go through. So I've been really worried about those, about what those would look like, about our teachers and their reaction to those. Remember that I live with a teacher, so I know how that would go over, like a lead balloon. Well, we got great news that Susan Sluter, our testing coordinator for the district, she really went up to bat for us and for our teachers and for our students. And the district has decided to inform the state that we will not be participating in special editions assessments this year. And I'm thrilled about that. I think less testing is better, even in a normal year. We don't want to over-test our students or to make them think that's what school is about. We don't want to have to teach to those in order to feel like adequate educators. So I'm thrilled to announce that if you see or read anything about special editions, please ignore it, because North Carolina is doing that, but Henderson County has opted out of special editions. More will be coming about testing, I'm sure, and I will keep you updated as much as I can. If you guys have any questions that you think I can answer now, just send me an email, give me a text or a call. I'm very proud of you all for the work that I've seen you doing this week, and I'm excited for next week to start. It's always so much better once we get them here in our building and get our hands on their minds, whether it be in person or remotely. So have a great afternoon. Thank you.